to love yourself and father.
Oh my God, what is this commercial?
The bliss.
It's the critique of pure reason. Perhaps that would better prepare him with the necessary tools to be able to truly be a free thinker, because what he said is not a free thinker. There's nothing genius about it. It's blatant ignorance, and it's embarrassing. And for all the young people who have invested in him, who go out and buy his sneakers, who buy his albums, what do you say to those individuals? It's because of them he is where he is at currently. He owes those folks an explanation.
Yes, so listen, and we have you here, you're a black conservative. Again, this is not about politics, although people are trying to frame it that way.
Well, John, look, the difference, yes, I am a black conservative, but I can tell you that the reason why I'm a conservative, right? I can explain the epistemological definition of conservatism versus liberalism. I have spent time reading books by Edmund Burke and John Locke and Michael Oakeshott and Robert Nozick, who all have their own issues, as Mark Lamont Hill can factually state. But with that stated, my belief system is grounded upon an intellectual exploration of something. Kanye's is not. There's a distinct difference between the two.
I hope he's watching, because you just preached right there.
Okay, whatever.
Kanye recently spoke with radio host Charlamagne the God.
Okay, let's start this.
Here's part of what he said. Wow. It's stunning, right? It's stunning on so many levels. First of all, again, this idea of why we're still talking about slavery is a right-wing, alt-right talking point. This idea about black-on-black crime, right-wing talking point. This idea, everything he brought that up today. It's like I wanted the guys in the room, and you know, Bam was amazing to say, black people kill each other because of proximity. White people kill each other because of proximity. Because they live together. See, but there you go with that data again. You keep using these facts, which contradict Kanye's feelings. You can't keep doing that in the Kanye universe. That's the problem. And we have to keep pushing it. And that's why this conversation is necessary. It's not to persuade Kanye. Kanye probably can't be persuaded. But it's to persuade the people who watch this conversation so that they know. Do we get time to run Van? Can we run Van's soundbite right now? Okay, so this is Van, writer Van Lathan. Was clearly upset. He was passionate, and it was across the room. Yeah. And then he had some words of choice for Kanye. Watch this.
Clarity. But there's an interesting piece that happens there. I don't know if you saw the tail end.
What he says, you need to be responsible. Kanye wanted to hug him.
So Kanye's like, I'm sorry if I hurt you, brother. I'm sorry if I hurt you. And so then
hang on, let her finish.
Let me just make this point. I think it's kind of interesting the way that Kanye emotes, right? So he has these one-on-one relationships and kind of extrapolates what happens in a one-on-one and projects that onto the whole. So he loves Trump because you've met him 3 times, and so that's your boy, and so that's his reasoning for standing for him. And so I feel like similarly in this situation, you see the side of Kanye after this, where there's a genuine moment where it's just dawning on him that he actually impacted someone. And in that second, he's ready to move on. He wants to hug you. He goes into this whole free love thing, which is another.
Good, Michael.
But this is why, I was going to say, this is why we have to be so careful about considering people geniuses, right? So many people say Kanye's a genius. Without a doubt, he's had a successful music career. He's done fairly well for himself. He's gained so much of the world, and yet, despite all of the advancements that he has made economically speaking, he's still so ignorant of all the encounters, if you will, that occur between human nature and human experiences, and why certain people are impacted by certain things differently, and how marginalized groups of people struggle in comparison to those who are not marginalized at all. I mean, Don, the fact of the matter is this, right? If you're enlightened, if you're an independent free thinker, then you have sort of gone through the process of from benighment to being free. It reminds me of the allegory of Plato's cave, where the individuals who see these shadows before them, and they believe that the shadows they see in front of them is true. But it's not true. It's not true at all. And that's what's so troubling about this, that we're having this conversation about this guy with this huge platform. Yeah. So many people who follow him who take those words as true.
But I want to be a genius. That's just it. You want to be a genius at everything.
No, you don't.
Neil deGrasse Tyson can't make bombs. You know what I'm saying?
And I wouldn't call, I push back on that, Mark. Mark, I push back on that at all. He's not a genius whatsoever. And we need to stop just using that term so loosely and freely.
I gotta take a break. It sounds to me like he thinks it's that you can't have one, but it's a choice. That you can't have self-pride and be positive and try to improve yourself and have all those things that where you're going to better yourself, better your community, and still know and understand history. It's a right-hand side. So it's like you guys understand that you can do both of those, critical and have responsibility.
I'm a conservative, Don, and I'm still aware of my blackness. Like, come on, that argument is
except for that Kanye Genius argument. We got a lot to talk about, including someone who is running for office who said wealthy Chinaman isn't racist, and then there's Kanye. I want to play something from Kanye West because I think Kanye is actually. I'm not going to do the break. I think Kanye is actually writing his own story. We're going to talk about that. We'll be right back. Right, I'm back now with Sir Michael, Mark, and Kierna. So I want to switch gears now and talk about the former coal executive Don Blankenship, whose interview with Mitch McConnell has doubled down on comments that he made about McConnell's wife, Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao. He talked about her father being a wealthy China person, and he defends these comments. Watch.
This idea that calling somebody a China person, I mean, I'm an American person. I don't see this insinuation by the press that there's something racist about saying a China person. Some people are Korean persons and some of them are African persons. It's not any slander there.
It's laughable, right? Because he talks about her father being a wealthy China person, and then he went after McConnell for being soft and feminine. He says his comments are not racist.
Lunacy and white supremacy at work. I mean, let's just call a thing what it is. We don't get to make those mistakes anymore. You don't.
White person be tripping there. Like it's a real simple thing. When you make a mistake, just say, you know what, I misspoke, or I didn't know, or whatever the case may be. But to double down on it, it's almost like he's baiting his bait. Sure, Michael, what about the type of candidates that are running for Republican seats now? What is this a reflection of the Trump era or what?
No, I mean, I think it is a reflection of the Trump era, and something that I have personally struggled with, and I've written a lot about this, is trying to figure out if this is a permanent paradigm shift, or is this something that's temporary that will only last while Trump is in office? That's something that I think the jury is still out on. But one thing that I can say, of course that guy knew exactly what he was saying. He knew by making that statement that it will rile up the individuals who he would need to come out and vote for him. I get that, but the fact of the matter is we cannot continue, Don, to allow individuals to get away with these things, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. There's a certain level of decency and respect that once existed in politics, and just because one person is in the White House should not change the entire dichotomy for the entire country.
I agree with you. Can we, I want to end on this Kanye thing. Because I feel Kanye is sort of writing it's weird, because I went back when I thought about this. I said, Kanye is enamored he wrote about being enamored with oneself in 2007 for graduation. Play this.
Wake up, Mr. West, Mr. West, Mr. Fresh, Mr. By himself, he's so impressed. I mean, damn, did you even see the dress? You got D's, motherfucker, D's. Rosie Perez, and yes, barely passed. Any in every class, looking at every ass, cheated on every test. I guess this is my dissertation. Homie, this shit is basic. Welcome to graduation. Good morning.
See, he got F's. Listen what he's saying. Wake up,
This
Mr. West.
isn't about F.
Mr. West. By himself, he's so impressed. You got D's.
Yeah.
Looking at everyone. This is his graduation, but seriously, he needs to listen. He needs to take his own advice.
I don't think it's about failing in school. I think it's about failing as an adult.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be self-critical, like all of us do. I think he needs to develop and grow and be open to new ideas, new people, new information. And he does that, he can grow.
I agree too, but the highest form of reflection is self-reflection, Don, because no one wants to look at the mirror and look at that person and say, wow, I'm really flawed.
Thank you all. It was a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like Van said, Kanye, you gotta be responsible. Good night.
President Trump distancing himself from his personal attorney Michael Cohen while admitting for the first time that Cohen represents him in what he calls the crazy stormy.
What does this know?
White House Dr. Ronnie Jackson withdrawing his nomination to head the VA in the wake of multiple allegations.
What's the deal with the EPA approval of cleaning products?
The brand was basically every small business and favorite product has to be approved by the EPA.
And have to meet high quality standards.
No heavy metals, BPA
or phthalates. Most cleaning products don't have to list their ingredients. Safer Choice products have to list what's belong.
And then they're labeled like natural and green.
They don't have the same regulations as Safer Choice products.
And just about anybody can put them on their package.
Brandless Safer Choice products only use chemicals on their package. And there are annual audits for compliance.
That's like yearly checkups to make sure that the ingredients are healthy for everyone involved.
Based on what you've just said here, it sounds to me you got precisely the reaction you wanted by wearing that hat.
I didn't
You
want a reaction.
You wanted a reaction.
No.
You knew there was going to be a reaction.
I knew there was going to be a reaction, but I'm just living my life day by day, doing what I feel and what the Spirit calls upon me to do.
But it also
But you realize
opens
that you
up this
influence.
dialogue that you're not apologizing, because everybody else, when they make a statement like that, they end up apologizing because they're so worried about what people say on social media.
Well, you know why when I went to visit him the first time,
Right after the election.
yeah, and I took the tweets down and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was drugged the fuck out, bro. I was drugged out. I was on opioids. 2 days after I got off of opioids, and I was addicted to opioids, 2 days I got off of opioids, I'm in the hospital, right? I'm taking hey, everyone listen to this, please. 2 days before I was in the hospital, I was on opioids. I was addicted to opioids. I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding and made him fly home before me and Kim got married. I didn't want y'all to call me fat, so I got liposuction, right? And they gave me opioids, right? And I started taking 2 of them and then driving to work on the opioids, right? Then my boy, and I'd always ask my boy, you know, to hand me if it's, you know, we on tour, give me some weed, blah, blah, blah. So he had to go give me the opioids. And there was talks amongst my camp, like, Ye's popping pills, right? So when he handed this to me, he said, you know this is used to kill genius, right? So I didn't take it. 2 days later, I'm in the hospital. I was taking 2 pills a day at that time. When I left the hospital, how many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7. So the reason why I dropped those tweets and everything, because I was drugged the fuck out, bro. And I'm not drugged out. These pills that they want me to take 3 of a day, I take 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. Y'all had me scared of myself, of my vision. So I took some pills so I wouldn't go to the hospital and prove everyone right. We are drugged out. We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media. And today, it all changes. You got Tupac and Lennon in that hallway. Today, it all changes. We need to think how to think free. We need to be free thinkers. Then we need to learn how to feel free. People say feel free, but we don't even know how to feel free or think free. Say what you feel, positive and negative. I just got off the phone with J. Cole. He said, how you feel when they said the Crips is gonna kill you? I said, man, that was the headline. But when they said they wanted to beat me up, I said, that's great. These are my brothers. They love me. They don't want nothing to happen to you. They just want to be some sense to me. I love guys. I love the Crips. I love the Bloods. I love everyone. How many people are feeling? How many people felt something when I said today? Raise your hand if you felt something when I said today. Do you feel that I'm feeling? Do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free? I just don't think that there's anything. I think what we're doing. While you are making music and being an artist and living a life that you've earned by being is the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Every day we have to walk into that truth while you choose to say things that, to be honest with you, dog, are nonsensical. You want us to think freely? That's fine. I combat your free thought with my free thought because mine is grounded in a reality that I have been given and a reality that I'm going to change, but I'm not going to do it by pretending that the enemies are on the same team as me. And frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real. That's the way I feel. Stand on all the coffee tables you want to stand on, say whatever you want to say, but don't throw a stone, then hide your hand like the rest of us are just going to swallow it. Yay, be yay, I'm off it, forever. Do you, but remember, the life that I live is as a real person, an actual person.
Now the thing is, he said something, he said grounded in reality. This reality has been forced upon us. It is a choice, just like when I said slavery is a choice. The reality, we can make our own reality. We can talk about history, but not too long. We need to talk about our now, because we can fix and start loving each other now. When I say we have no enemies, we don't have enemies. Black people have a tendency to focus and march when a white person kills a black person or wears a hat. But when it's 700 kids being killed in Chicago, it's okay. It's okay for blacks to kill blacks.
What's happening
but if
here?
It's a white thing.
I don't think anybody's saying that's okay.
Is this Kanye?
More focus and more marches
That is a lie.
about
don't
whites
believe that.
killing blacks
There-
than kids in Chicago killing each other.
That's a lie. There are black people working there.
There are no marches.
Over 90% of black people being killed are killed by other blacks.
That's a fact.
The black
But there is
homicide rate is a fact.
that is a fact.
Black
But there,
on black crime is a fact.
but there are
nobody
black
wants
people.
to march with a black
Okay,
person
wait a
as a
second.
black.
Now this is a problem.
Wait a second.
We have to. You're too far. You have to be closer to me.
I'm here right now. There are black people working every
brother,
single
brother,
day.
don't scream because it will make us look
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't care how we look in front of this. We talking some
No,
bullshit.
no, when you
This
scream,
is what I'm saying.
when you scream and you don't talk, it
Okay.
doesn't look right.
Let me just say something.
Let me impart this.
Is
Let
my
me
mic
impart
on?
this upon you.
Okay, this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, because these are two different versions of somebody else's truth. This is two different versions of somebody else's truth. So he gets up and he's talking slavery, right? Okay, I'm not enslaved, so that it's like I don't mean to insult his reality.
Kanye, come on over.
I don't mean
I
to.
just want to give him a hug.
Right. Like I don't mean to.
No, I think he might want to punish me, but I want to give him a hug.
Okay, but like.
Right.
Let's finish
Well,
conversation and then we'll.
What Kanye just
I love you, and I want to give you a hug. I feel like you want to fight me right now, but I love you.
I don't fight with my fist, man. I've been through that. This is what I'm saying.
So if I come over there, you're not gonna fight me?
No, I'm not gonna hit Kanye West and TMZ. Bro, you gotta be
I'm listening to Kanye West
You gotta be responsible, dog.
I'm sorry I hurt you, bro.
and TMZ.
I'm sorry.
They're having
I
a
love you, bro. I'm sorry.
conversation.
I'm sorry I hurt you with my words, bro. I love you, bro. Bro, I didn't mean to say things that hurt you. I didn't mean to wear the hat out the blue and shock so many people.
It's a big
and not
story
give them
right
a
now.
way out of the pain. I understand that gave him pain, that made him see pain. But guess what? When I went into the hospital, we're
in the
now in
news.
the hospital. TMZ is the hospital to fix the world. Obama was our opioid. It made us feel like everything was good.
That's not true, bro.
Yeah.
That's not true. Listen, first of all, calm.
What's your name, though?
I'm bad.
I'm sorry for disappointing you, man.
Yeah, listen. Calmly.
Yeah.
What you said up there a second ago, the statistic about black on black violence is true. What they don't tell you is there are people dedicating their lives to working throughout the problems of black people. There are black people every day, boots on the ground. They're all over the place that are working towards this. Like every single day, people are trying to fix this problem. The narrative that black people don't care about black lives until a white person takes them is false. That is not true. But the problem is, the people that are doing this work in communities every day, guys all over the place, they don't
get the type of reverence, they don't get the type of shine, they don't get the type of light spotted on them, the spotlight, should I say, that other people do. Those people are the ones that need to be empowered. The people that can help Chicago, that can help South Baton Rouge, that can help those places, that are working there every day. They doing it and they dedicate their lives to it. But they don't get big up by rappers. They don't get invited to things. They do it for nothing because they have to. So what I'm trying to say is while we having all of these conversations about stuff that gets covered on the news, who's going to talk about what doesn't get covered on the news? Like, to me, for me, for a lot of years, the dude that inspired me to be more than what I was in Baton Rouge, that was you. Ask everybody in this room for years. Ask everybody in here how many times we've had a Kanye West story and I've stood there, the only person to defend Kanye West because of what you meant to me. And then after that, you slap me in my fucking face by getting next to people who mean me harm and who don't even care about the fact, about being honest about the fact that they mean me harm.
I think that we have to get next to everyone. If we don't like Trump, we have to talk to them. We have to talk because Trump is a human being also, and he's in a very powerful position, and he's doing a lot of things to actually help business owners be able to go past all these fake laws and rules and things. I mean, Candace can give you the facts better than that, but we need to speak to people. Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So we keep on saying, I hate you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. How are we going to get a different result out of hate? Why don't we just try love? Why don't we just try love? Why can't it be okay for an influential rapper in the black community to go up to the president and talk to him about how we can make a change one by one? We have the resources for a peaceful world. I believe that Kim Jong-un didn't believe that Obama was crazy enough to come at him. You know, sometimes you need some crazy motherfuckers to change something. Steve Jobs is crazy. Now we all on Steve Jobs' phones. They say Trump's crazy. They say I'm crazy. But I'm here to show love. And we're going to make it through. I know I disappointed you today, brother. And I know I disappointed the black community when I wore the hat. And I'm sorry for disappointing you. But like I just told J. Cole on the phone right now, it's a bigger plan. And I'm just doing what the universe told me.
Crazy. He is crazy. So what's next?
Kanye West sparking a lot of outrage tonight with his unhinged comments about slavery. I want to bring in now Republican strategist for Michael Singleton, CNN political commentator Mark Lamont Hill, and writer and journalist Trina Mayo. Good evening to all of you. So today, Kanye West managed to shock us again while at TMZ's offices today to film TMZ Live. He made these stunning comments about slavery.
You hear about slavery for 400 years? For 400 years? That sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is black. So prison is something that unites us as one race, blacks and whites being one race. That we're the human race.
Kieran, slavery for 400 years is a choice. What's your reaction?
It's, again, unfortunate. You know, we're all worried about Kanye, but at this point, we're all also angry and offended and hurt. And he's also factually incorrect, right? So slave rebellions, armed slave rebellions, have happened in every slaveholding state in this country. We have resisted slavery for as long as we've been here. His association with slavery is so just uninformed. And I think the problem with Kanye today is that he's taken for granted that his lack of information, it can pass for opinion in a public sphere. And particularly for his young black fans and followers, I'm worried for them because I'm not sure that they can make the distinction between where he's going and the truth.
Well, and that's why we're covering so much, because in my estimation, this is dangerous. And again, as I've said all along, and you said Kanye can say whatever he wants. He can believe whatever he wants. But he should understand the power of his platform. He has to be responsible, as Van said today, and he has to know his facts before he thinks, Mark, that this is a new conversation.
Right.
That he's having, because he just discovered it.
He just discovered some information, and I want him to discover information. I also want him to discover books.
Yeah.
And I want him to read those books and read that information before he offers a public opinion. But in the Kanye West universe, at least right now, whatever he thinks is the most important thing, facts be damned. And that's something that's super dangerous. In many ways, he is like Trump. I mean, I think he's wrestling with some stuff. But
I was just going to say,
I see why he likes Donald Trump. And
he says why he likes it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a rich, successful white man who does whatever he wants under any circumstances. He doesn't need facts. He doesn't need anything else.
He doesn't read.
And he just says what he doesn't read. I mean, I see why he likes Donald Trump.
But the thing is that he talks about he doesn't know he doesn't even know his history of Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
So he just hasn't read about Donald Trump as well, because then maybe he would not be saying these things.
But he also, let's not extract Kanye from hip hop and like the origins around his generation in hip hop. He was up against half of an MC nation that was naming themselves after white men, right? Who were supposed to be self-made, who were supposed to be a la Trump in this very kind of flashy, screw you, I do me kind of ilk. And so there is an attraction to, I think, what he associates with braggadocio and bravery and radical free thought. However, you're wearing a MAGA hat as though that's not sheepish.
We ain't do that, though. We ain't do that part. We still said F the police. We still said my president is black.
Absolutely. And so did he. And so did he.
And that's why.
And so did he.
And that's what I'm worried about.
So, Michael, Kanye tweeted just a few hours ago. He tried to clarify this, right? So I'm going to put these words up. He said, "To make myself clear, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. The reason why I brought up the 400 years point is because we can't be mentally imprisoned for another 400 years. We need free thought now. Even the statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea." So he's backtracking, but does that make sense?
No, it doesn't, Don. I mean, look, I think even a cursory understanding of slavery and the history of slave people or enslavement would have better positioned him to make a more accurate and historically factual statement. He did not. The premise of his statement, or of his tweets rather, that he is a free thinker is somewhat absurd to me. And intellectually speaking, I would advise Kanye to pick up a book written by Immanuel Kant back in the 1700s, The Critique of Pure Reason. Perhaps that would better prepare him with the necessary tools to be able to truly be a free thinker, because what he said is not a free thinker. There's nothing genius about it. It's blatant ignorance, and it's embarrassing. And for all the young people who have invested in him, who go out and buy his sneakers, who buy his albums, what do you say to those individuals? It's because of them he is where he is at currently. He owes those folks an explanation.
Yeah. Yes. So listen, and we have you're a black conservative. Again, this is not about politics, although people are trying to frame it that way.
Well, Don, it's not. It's like the difference. Yes, I am a black conservative, but I can tell you the reason why I'm a conservative, right? I can explain the epistemological definition of conservatism versus liberalism. I have spent time reading books by Edmund Burke and John Locke and Michael Oakeshott and Robert Nozick, who all have their own issues, as Mark Lamont Hill can factually state. But with that stated, my belief system is grounded upon an intellectual exploration of something. Kanye's is not. There's a distinct difference between the two.
I hope he's watching, because you just preached right there. Kanye recently spoke with radio host Charlamagne the God. That interview came out today. Here's part of what he said.
Why you gotta keep reminding us about slavery? Why don't you show us, put Michael Jordan on a $20 bill?
But Harriet Tubman was a slave who rebelled, though. Like, her and Nat Turner in a different frequency, though. They kind of were like you when you said you didn't feel like being controlled.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny, like, my boy Tremaine tweeted, a picture of me and Virgil, and he said, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And all these people got mad. It's like, how can you compare that to that? Man, I know this is going to cause an uproar, but certain certain icons is just too far in the past and not relatable.
Wow. It's stunning, right? It's stunning on so many levels. First of all, again, this idea of why we're still talking about slavery is a right-wing, alt-right talking point. This idea about black-on-black crime, right-wing talking point. This idea, everything he said.
He brought that up today, and it's like I wanted the guys in the room, and you know, Bam was amazing to say. Black people kill each other because of proximity. White people kill each other because of proximity. Right. Because they live together.
See, but there you go with that data again. You keep using these facts, which contradict Kanye's feelings. You can't keep doing that in the Kanye universe. That's the problem. And we have to keep pushing it. And that's why this conversation is necessary. It's not to persuade Kanye. Kanye probably can't be persuaded. But it's to persuade the people who watch this conversation so that they know.
Do we have time to run Van's? Can we run Van's soundbite right now? Okay, so this is Van, writer Van Lathan. Was clearly upset. He was passionate, and it was across the room. Yeah. And then he had some words of choice for Kanye. Watch this.
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. And the reason why I feel like that is because Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. The rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real.
Clarity. But there's an interesting piece that happens there. I don't know if you saw the tail end.
When he says you need to be responsible, Kanye wanted to hug him.
But so Kanye's like, I'm sorry if I hurt you, brother. I'm sorry if I hurt you. And
but
so
Don,
they begin.
Hang on, let her finish.
Let me just make this point. I think it's kind of interesting the way that Kanye emotes, right? So he has these one-on-one relationships and kind of extrapolates what happens in one-on-one and projects that onto the whole. So he loves Trump because you've met him 3 times, and so that's your boy, and so that's his reasoning for standing for him. And so I feel like similarly in this situation, you see the side of Kanye after this, where there's a genuine moment where it's just dawning on him that he actually impacted someone. Right. And in that second, he's ready to move on. He wants to hug you. He goes into this whole free love thing, which is another.
Go ahead, Michael.
But this is why, you know, I was going to say, this is why we have to be so careful about considering people geniuses, right? So many people say Kanye's a genius. Yeah, without a doubt, he's had a successful music career. He's done fairly well for himself. He's gained so much of the world, and yet, despite all of the advancements that he has made economically speaking, he's still so ignorant of all the encounters, if you will, that occur between human nature and human experiences, and why certain people are impacted by certain things differently, and how marginalized groups of people struggle in comparison to those who are not marginalized at all. I mean, Don, the fact of the matter is this, right? If you're enlightened, if you're an independent free thinker, then you have sort of gone through the process of from benighment to being free. It reminds me of the allegory of Plato's cave, where the individuals who see these shadows before them, and they believe that the shadows they see in front of them is true. But it's not true. It's not true at all. And that's what's so troubling about this, that we're having this conversation about this guy with this huge platform. Yeah. With so many people who follow him, who would take those words as truth.
But I want to be genius. And that's just it. You don't have to be genius at everything.
No, you don't.
Neil deGrasse Tyson can't make bombs.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I wouldn't call. I push back on that, Mark. Mark, I push back on that at all. He's not a genius whatsoever, and we need to stop just using that term so loosely and freely.
Here's my problem. You better start with the fantasy again. Because you got busy.
I got to take a break. I got to take a break. It sounds to me like he thinks it's that you can't have one with. It's a choice. That you can't have self-pride and be positive and try to improve yourself and have all those things that where you're going to better yourself, better your community, and still know. Right, and understand history.
It's a right-wing straw argument.
So it's like he doesn't understand that you can do both.
You can be critical
and have responsibility.
I'm a conservative, Don, and I'm still aware of my blackness. Like, come on.
That argument had except for that Kanye Jr.'s argument. That was microaggression.
That was
We got a lot to talk about.
Keep things simple, natural, and comfortable with the Villa Sonoma collection at Living Spaces. If you're ready to add rustic charm, farmhouse character, and industrial style to your home, you're ready to explore the Villa Sonoma collection available at Living Spaces.
Kanye West is back on Twitter. And just like the new Yeezy slides, his tweets have people going, what are those? Now, in case you missed it, Kanye tweeted out an endorsement for a black conservative pundit who argues that black people complain too much about racism, adding self-victimization is a disease, and then he added, there was a time when slavery was the trend, but now is a mentality. Now, first of all, I think it's weird to describe slavery as a trend. Like, there are no memorials dedicated to the horrors of Tamagotchi. I think trends are very different ideas. But I have to admit, Kanye got me thinking. Maybe we're too quick to call stuff racist when we don't need to. To help me try and figure this thing out, we invited our very own Roy Wood Jr., everybody. Look, Roy,
What's that?
I'm struggling with this, man. What do you think? Are black people too sensitive about racism?
Hell yeah, black people are sensitive about racism. But that's because it's still happening. You can't tell me to get over something that never ended. Look, you can't treat sunburn if you're still standing outside. You got to put on lotion and ice and... I'm not white, man. I don't know how you treat sunburn. The point is, you don't even have to look hard to find racism. Here's a story from just a few days ago.
Tonight, some new Richmond residents are calling their neighbors racist. One family has their display on the front porch with several Confederate flags, but that's not all.
You be the judge. A black mannequin with painted lips, these figures with wigs strapped to the porch, and multiple Confederate flags of all sizes sit outside this home. Tonight I spoke to the family who put that display up. You decide, racist or not.
I decided it's racist. They decorated their front porch with pink-lipped black people, and then they decorated the black people with Confederate flags. It's not just racist, Trevor, it's tacky. It's like you're mixing your plaids and your stripes, and what makes it worse is that they don't even have the balls to own their racism.
No way, shape, or form should anybody think it is racist.
What would you say to someone who's driving by this and says that family hates black people?
I would say, you know, everybody hates everybody, you know. It just depends on what you hate, you know.
Yes, exactly. Depends on what you hate. If you hate a race of people, that's racism. It's crazy that even people who admit that they're doing racism don't want to be labeled racist. People don't like racism. They don't like labels, you know, but I get it. I like being naked all the time, but I don't want to be called a nudist. People hate nudists.
Yeah, but people call you a nudist because you walk around your office naked.
I'm not ashamed of my body, Trevor. Look, the point is, the whole thing is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. I will say this, though. The wigs that they put on them dolls, on point. Look at the detail. The curve, the bangs, that's some artisanal racism. And the creativity doesn't even end there. The woman had a whole backstory for the display.
All the baseball players on there are actual, you know, from the first blacks that played the baseball game.
They were asking specifically also what the black mannequin is supposed to represent.
Oh, not like the mom of the baseball players, basically.
Oh, right. Now it makes sense. This was a tribute to the trailblazing black baseball players and their mama. Because I don't know if you know about Negro League baseball, but before every game, Jackie Robinson's mama would hand him a Confederate flag and say, "Go get him, baby." Go get him. No, look, give me that back. Put this flag in your hand.
No, Roy, look. I feel you. But a part of me does feel bad for these people. I mean, if you can't be racist at home, then where can you do it?
Well, that's the problem. Racism never stays at the racist person's house. Sooner or later, racism catches an Uber and comes to your doorstep. The day before we heard about the porch, there was another story about a black dude who got run out of a town in Tennessee.
A man who used to live at this house on Depot Street says he's never felt welcome there. He says just Wednesday morning he discovered these racial slurs spray painted on the walls of his house.
And see, this one is upsetting. Because first of all, there's no need to call him nigger. He was the only black dude in town. They could have just used his name. They could have just said, hey, Pete, get your shit and get out of town, bruh. That's all they had to say.
And you know, this story for me, Roy, seems open and shut. Like, no one can say that this isn't racist.
Oh, that's exactly what they're going to say.
Mayor Casey Burnett says he was one of the first people to see the graffiti, but he says he doesn't consider it to be a hate crime.
It did have a little bit of a racial slur to it, but it's not, you know, we're not a racial community at all.
Yeah, just a little bit of a racial slur, just a little bit. There were only 2 words, and the other one was kill. A little bit of a racial slur, too. It sounds like he's sharing a recipe for some oppression casserole. Little pinch of prejudice and some cayenne and some, ooh, y'all, boy, you gotta run. That's good casserole right there, boy. Look, I think I understand what Kanye was trying to say, but I don't agree. Just because I'm calling out racism doesn't mean I'm trying to play the victim. If I see you being racist, I'm gonna call you out on your shit, then I'm going to carry on with my day. Speaking of which, I've been in these clothes for more than 3 minutes.
Oh, no, Roy, no. Roy Wood Jr., everybody.
I love products that let me look and feel like myself. This concealer hides my under-eye circles without making me look overdone. It brings out my most beautiful skin and lets me focus on living and loving my life. Using Bare Pro helps me feel like the best version of myself inside and out.
I can't speak to the rest of the world, but I know there's one very happy person watching the show tonight. Right
Was the static sound?
She's like, "Where are you, Tiger?" And I said, "I'm about to be."
Probably outside.
And she's like, "I thought that was at night." I was like, "It takes during the day."
Someone's mowing the
like,
lawn
so
outside.
Make sure they say your name right. And it's very easy, Kevin Smith. But what happens in life is people want to be like Kevin James. I get fans coming up to me being like, "Kevin James," and I'm like, "Hey, you know." I want to break their heart. It is kind of huge. Right?
What a compliment. He's the king of Queens.
Bang. Did I tell you I had a heart attack? I had a heart attack.
I was just about to say, you're looking fit and trim.
Yeah.
But that's because you had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Don't applaud the heart attack, please.
Yeah. No, you can't applaud the heart attack. It was the greatest thing that ever happened.
It was in the middle of a stand-up set?
I was shooting, not in the middle. It was, we were shooting 2 shows for the Showtime special. And, you know, you shoot 2 and then combine it into 1.
Showtime special is called, by the way, Silent but Deadly.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Which was the name of the show before the heart attack. But after the heart attack, I was like, we got to keep it now, you know. So, Kevin Can Wait was taken by the other guy. So I did the show. It was supposed to be an hour, wound up being 2 hours. And after the show, I started feeling unwell, and I chased, you know, people out of my dressing room. Jason runs our company, and I chased her out. And Emily, who, wait for it, does my hair, was there as well. And so I was like,
she does that.
Can you believe it? It's this part. It's an easy job. So I was like, hey, man, can you guys get out? I don't feel that well, because when I'm sick, I just want to go off into the woods like an animal and die. And I chased him out, and I felt really bad. I laid down on the floor, wound up like throwing up. I like to tell the story not because it's like juicy, but because I didn't know what heart attack symptoms were. I was a child of the 70s, so I grew up on Sanford and Son. So Elizabeth, that's a heart attack, you know. What I had was I had the sweats, and I was breathing heavy, and I felt a little nauseous.
Did you get the classic pain down the arm or anything?
I didn't have that, man. None of the things they tell you to look for. That's why I like to tell the story, because everyone's looking for the arm going out. None of that happened, man. Like, essentially, I sweated more, and I sweat when I breathe, so that didn't even seem like a symptom and stuff. So then at one point, like, after they kept asking me to cancel the next show, and I was like, no, man, I just need to lay down. And I felt worse, and finally I was like, maybe we should cancel the show. They're like, we did. And I was like, don't cancel the show, man. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's going to make me look weak. They're like, you are weak right now. They're like, we called an ambulance. And I was like, what? And it was just then that 6 brawny firemen come into the room, because when he called paramedics, the fire department come. 6 brawny firemen come in, and 4 of them were young, so they were looking at me like, is that Silent Bob? You know, and so... And I was sitting there holding up my hands because I thought that would help. I couldn't breathe, so I was like, I'll hold my hands up. So they're like, is Silent Bob scoring a goal? Like, what's going on here and stuff? So then the paramedics come in, they're cute, man. Bob's twins, a guy and a girl. And the dude puts a cuff on me, and he's like, we're going to take your blood pressure. And then the lady comes in with this, like, fishing tackle box, got wires in it. She's going, I got to put these on you. And I said, okay. And I was sitting in the chair like this. This is like 32 pounds ago. But even now, I don't like sitting up because, like, if this shirt came off, boom, 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 all the rolls come out. So... back then, I was sitting in the chair, and she's like, I'll put the leads on you. I said, okay. And all of a sudden, she yanks up my shirt, and I was like, whoa! And I pull it down. And she's like, I gotta get these on you. I was like, hey, man, there are a lot of people in this room, including my wife's, my best friend's wife is sitting right there. She'd never seen my breast incision. So, like, please, don't. And she goes, well, I gotta get these wires on you. I was like, well, I'll pull the shirt out, and you reach up under it and stuff. You can use my nipples as guideposts and whatnot. And meanwhile, the guy next to me is like, Mr. Smith, we're going to take you to the hospital. I said, oh, come on, why? And he goes, just to be sure, it's so close. He's like, you ever been to the hospital before? And I visited people, but I've never been sick or anything. So I was like, no, to be honest, no. And he goes, oh, you're going to have such a good time. Like, he started selling it, man, and I got excited. And then these 6 brawny firemen, like he told me, he's like, we're going to put you in this chair. They got these chairs in ambulances. I've never been in one. This chair turns into a bed. It's like a transformer. So he's like, we want you to sit in this chair. And I want to get up. He goes, no, you can't get up. He's going, we got this. 6 brawny firemen came and picked me up, man. And they were like, whoop, boom, put me in the other chair. And it was the most fun I've had in years. Because, like, I'm a big person. Nobody tries to pick me up. But when you get picked up, it's fun, man. So when they got me in the chair, I was like, one more time. But they had no time. So they brought me to the hospital, and they bring me into the emergency room. The whole time, like, I'm chill. Like, the guy said, the paramedic, he goes, you're being real calm. That's going to get you through this. And there's a dude behind me, that's what's going to save his life. And I was like, what does that part mean, you know? So we got to the ER, and this dude, Dr. Leidenheim, dude who saves my life. I hadn't met him until that moment, right? Now I want to marry him. This guy comes into the room, into the ER, and he goes, hey, how are you? And I was like, oh, I can't catch my breath. And he goes, that's because you're having a massive heart attack. And that's the first time anyone told me that. And I was like, no, this can't be. I said, Doc, honestly, I just smoked too much weed this morning. That's what this is.
Did you really think you were just too high?
I honestly thought I was too high. I smoked like a bunch of weed that day because I was doing the shows. And I smoked a joint right before the show, and I got off stage, and all of a sudden I had a heart attack. And I asked my doctor, like, after this was all done, I was like, I hate to ask this question, man, but did I have a heart attack because of the weed? Because I smoked a joint right before the show. And he goes, no, in fact, quite the opposite. That weed saved your life. And I was like, do tell, man. Like, what do you mean? And so he goes, that joint, he said, you kept calm. He's going, they told you were having a massive heart attack. I just told you now. They told you you're going through stuff. And you remained calm the whole time. So that joint saved your life. I was like, I'm putting that on a T-shirt. So I'm in the emergency room, and he goes, we think you're having a massive heart attack. I'm going to send you upstairs to the OR because we got to go up through your groins, get into your femoral artery to look at your heart. And I was so blazed. Right away. He was like, I can't take any chances. And meanwhile, I'm chatting and stuff. He said that during the procedure. He goes, you're very chatty. You know, I kept talking to him and stuff.
So wait till it dries.
Comes in with a bucket. He's got a shaver in it and stuff. And he goes, the doctor needs to go to work. He goes, just to work. You need to save your blood. So you got to take off your voice. So I took my birth up on my underwear because, like, my number one fear, I'm terrified of dying. That's my number one fear. My second fear, right behind that one, is people feeling funny. So at that point, when you're in the hospital, that's the mentally increases the chances of both of those things happening. So exactly. So the guy goes, look at me, there's got to be underwear. I said, I'm not getting that. I said, you're going to save the joint. I said, well, what is the joint for you? You know, like, just in case. He goes, it's in here, it's in there. I was like, all right, well, I'll pull the underwear over, and and you give me like a landing strip right here, and then you'll go to work. And he goes, we ain't got time for this. I was like, bro, they just told me I had a massive heart attack. You make me take my underwear off in front of all these people, I will have a second heart attack right here. So they take me up to the OR, I'm in my underwear, and I get in, the doctor Leidenheim goes, why is he in his underwear? And the guy who's supposed to shave me was just like, he won't take them off, he's afraid. And I start talking to the doc, I was like, look doc, I got body shame issues, and my junk is small. He goes, we ain't got time for this. Woo, takes my underwear off me, like I'm in a 70s porno, just takes them right off me and stuff. And so I was like, you have your will of me, man. Like, he just had it. So I was wearing...
The music started playing.
Totally. It was hot. So I was wearing my jersey, too. I was wearing, like, a hockey jersey, as always. But even though they were pumping me full of drugs, I had the presence of mind to tell them a lie. Because I didn't want to lose all my clothes. I was afraid of being naked and stuff. The last time I was fully naked was when I was delivered in an emergency room. So I didn't want to be naked again. So they're trying, he goes, take that shirt off. And I said, no, you can't, doc. This is my lucky hockey jersey. Lying. And somebody should have pointed out, you had a heart attack in this lucky hockey jersey. But he didn't care. He's like, cut it off him. And they took my jersey off, and then I was just naked. I was like, go at it, go up. And then my man went up me, which sounds dirtier than I meant it, but then he goes up my groin to my femoral artery. He goes, you're 100% blocked, 100% occlusion. He's going, we got to go right now. He's going, I'm going to do an angioplasty. He goes, hey, but let me tell you something. He goes, you're a comic book guy. I said, yeah, I like comics. This is why I'm on the table. And he goes, that artery that's blocked up, the LAD, they call it the widowmaker. And I was like, why? And he goes, because in 80% of the cases of 100% blockage, people die. He goes, but you're going to be in the 20%, but because I'm good at what I do. And then he disappeared into my crotch, and he saved my life, man. So, thank you. So I just honestly, like, I give him all the credit, but like, there was a little fight in me because I was at peace. I was actually like, if this is the end, this is the end. I had a great life. I wasn't trying to like bargain with God or something like that, because I'm sure like God would be like, you made Dogma, go to hell. So like for me, I just kind of laid there and thought about like what a great life I had and stuff. But I'll be honest with you, the only reason that I struggled, the reason that I sat there on the table, did everything he said, and willed myself back to life, was because I was like, I got to be on Colbert in 2 months, man. And so here we are today.
Well, we couldn't be happier. We could not be happier. I'm sorry I didn't have time to get to a question.
No worries.
But please come again and we'll ask you something.
I will.
Silent but Deadly premieres May 11th on Showtime. That's Kevin Smith, everybody. Not Kevin James. We're back with performance by Paramore.
Bigger doesn't mean stronger. Don't be defined by a weight class. Bring the heat. Pack a punch. Come back for more. Like a charge. Like lightning in a bottle. Mighty like a pro. The all-new Terrain, the compact SUV from GMC. We are professional grade.
Oh, you know who twatted me last night?
Who twatted you?
Who twatted me on the Twitter? Sean Hannity is obsessed with me. And so last night he wrote another blog about my freaking Trump mask picture with the ketchup. You all know the picture. And changed my life. Anyway, so he does another blog about it. And I wrote to him. I said, I don't know if you're going to do very well in jail because someone like you, the rate of recidivism is going to be very high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recidivism is a good thing to knock him on.
It's a good word, right?
Yeah.
And also, I've actually performed in prisons. And I'm telling you, they would not go for Sean. Like,
Okay.
he's not their type.
Okay.
But he's going. Pre-business.
So let's talk again about this photo. Obviously, you know, you have a mask, a Trump mask.
You guys know the picture, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
it looks like you're holding up a severed head. But no one thought it was a real severed head.
No, first of all, Matt Lauer, let me see. Of all people, right? That one. All right, so, allegedly.
Thank you, Kathy.
Allegedly. So, he calls me on my cell phone, and I'm thinking, how the hell does Matt Lauer have my cell phone? So, yeah, things got so crazy that day. I got calls from everybody, and then, of course, you know, someone called and said, what if, you know who Daniel Pearl was, so I don't mean to bring the room down, but someone said, what if Daniel Pearl's mother saw this? And I performed in Iraq and Afghanistan. places the president can't find on a map, nor has he been. And so I really, truly didn't think people would make that connection. I just thought, all I could think of was everything from, you know, spoof of Medusa and Perseus to him saying famously to Megyn Kelly, and I'm no fan, sorry. But anyway, you know, remember that one? And by the way, Santa Claus is white. Calm down, girl. You don't know. You weren't there. All right, so I don't forget a single thing. I don't forget a single thing.
Where, do you
Anyway,
mean the North Pole? Is that where?
No, Megyn Kelly went on, she went on
I remember.
She went on a rant about Santa Claus being white, and my mother loved it. All right, so, by the way, it took me 2 hours to convince my mother I wasn't in ISIS that day. I swear to God, my mother, she's like, why did you join ISIS, damn it? But Mom, I'm 57 years old, I'm on the road, I'm trying to do two. Of all the things, I was watching my Fox News, and they said that ISIS is terrible. I go, Mom, I'm not. All right, so it was as crazy as you would imagine, and it got so crazy, I really did start to think, I've got to make this funny. And so someone named Jim Carrey called me.
Ooh.
Yeah, don't be such an ass. Ooh, sell it.
Okay,
Sell it. All right.
Oh, wait, do it again.
So anyway, Jim Carrey called me. Oh my gosh. And the reason I bring that up is I don't really even know him that well, but it was sweet of him to reach out. And he said the greatest thing. He goes, Kathy, you're the most famous comedian in the world today. And I'm sobbing. For the wrong reasons. He goes, no, use it. And so now I'm naming the tour, and I'll be playing Carnegie Hall and Radio City Music Hall at the Kathy Griffin Laugh Your Head Off World Tour.
There you go. So, I do want to, so in no way was it a proportional response, but do you look, I mean, obviously it was done to provoke, and then you successfully provoked. Do you look back at all and say, oh gosh, there was a better photo to take, or not this one?
I wish I had okay, so first of all, I didn't really think about it, and honestly, I sent a friend of mine out for like a mask at a Halloween store for $10, and then I got all the ketchup because I kept thinking about him saying at the debate, blood coming out of her eye, out of her what, and I'm like, how many men have said that crap to you of your life? So I was triggered, I admit it, triggered snowflake. And so I wanted to shame him. I wanted to shame him. He's such a misogynist, and his policies are so disgusting. And for the rights of women and LGBT folks and people of color, I was like, this guy's going down. Now, granted, it was a little soon. Like, I'm just saying, a lot of people have actually said, like, if this had been post-Weinstein or post-Me Too, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But when you do something like that, I really did just try to make a statement. And I truly didn't think people would think it was an actual severed head. Like, I go to a severed head warehouse or something.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, and also, I didn't I didn't know I was just part of the Trump, wood chipper. And I should have known, because at that time, he had only done it to, political figures. But what he did to me, I just want you guys to know, it's historic. It's never happened where a sitting United States president has used the power of the Oval Office, the first family, that group. Let's not start with the sons, date rape and Eddie Munster. All right, so I've really lightened up a lot.
I mean, they really, come out of your shell again. We need to see Kathy Griffin.
I know, I'm so shy. All right, so and then the Fox News machine and TMZ was recording my tour cancellations in real time because of bomb threats, which I later found out were robocalls. Like, I honestly didn't know they had this apparatus already in place. So they just kind of put me in, the Colin Kaepernick wood chipper. And they bring me up on Fox, whenever it's Mueller time. They bring me up. They bring up, Maxine Waters. So I'm now just in there.
And what was you were doing your show overseas, and
I wasn't. I was driven overseas, frankly. So I was in the middle of a 50-city tour, and this is all I do, you guys. I don't have a network or a studio. I go and tell my jokes town to town and hope you laugh. And
you're like I've always said. You're like Johnny Appleseed for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't make me emotional. Do not make me emotional, because that was touching. I'm only human. And so, yeah, I called my stand-up agent, and I said, this is a weird way to route a tour, but can you just send me to countries where they hate Trump? 2 weeks later, I had 15 countries in 23 cities. So, it was heaven. It was heaven.
Well, I certainly, I'm so happy you're doing shows here again. I look forward to seeing how they go, and
me too, seriously.
And I'm glad to see you doing well, and thanks so much for coming back.
Well, thank
I
you.
guess that's it. That's all I have for this Yep. Let me make this a little bit more red.
Congressional Democrats tell CNN that a top aide to EPA Chief Scott Pruitt directed staffers to consider opening an office in his hometown in Oklahoma 2 weeks before being confirmed. It's one of what seems like an avalanche of ethical scandals facing Pruitt. The New York Times reports that Pruitt is now the subject of 11 federal investigations. And you got to remember, Republicans are running these congressional committees that look into these allegations. Joining us now is CNN senior political commentator Rick Santorum. This is an interesting case of political psychology going on here as opposed to science.
Okay.
He's got his own people, Pruitt,
Thank
coming forward,
Bye.
questioning his motivations and situations. There are plenty of allegations that have